I grew up in a trailer park called Shady Pines, though the name was a lie. There wasn't a pine tree in sight, just gravel lots, sagging porches, and a chain link fence that rattled when the wind got bad. The real pines were across the road, a wall of dark trees that stretched for miles along the edge of town. Everyone called it the Pines, like it was a single thing, not a forest, and no one went in there. Not kids, not hunters, not even the cops when they were chasing someone. It was just off limits. I'm not talking about a sign or a law, nothing like that. It was the kind of rule you felt in your gut. The way people's voices dropped when they mentioned the Pines, or how they'd cross the street to avoid walking too close. My mom used to chain smoke on our porch, staring at the trees like they owed her something, but if I ever asked about 'em, she'd snap. "Stay out of there, Josh, you hear me?" Then she'd light another cigarette, hands shaking, and that'd be the end of it. When I was 9, I asked my neighbor, Mr. Hargrove, why no one went in. He was old, lived alone in a trailer with duct-taped windows, and always smelled like beer and motor oil. He was fixing his lawnmower when I asked, and he stopped, wiped his hands on his jeans, and looked at me like I'd just cursed his mother. "You don't go in the pines," he said. "Not unless you want to come out wrong." Then he went back to his mower, and I knew better than to push. Shady Pines wasn't much, but it was home. A couple dozen trailers, a laundry shed that always smelled like mildew, and a playground with a slide so rusted it'd cut you if you weren't careful. We were on the edge of a small town in Ohio, the kind of place where the biggest news was a new Dollar General opening. Everyone knew everyone, and everyone knew the Pines were there, waiting across the road. You could see them from anywhere in the park, looming over the fence, their shadows stretching long at dusk, like fingers reaching for us. I'm 24 now, living in a different state, but I'm writing this because I need to get it out. I need someone to know what happened when I was 15, when me and my friends ignored the rule. It's been years and I still don't sleep right. I still hear things I shouldn't. There were 3 of us back then, me, Kaylee, and Dylan. We were tight, the kind of friends who'd skip school to smoke stolen cigarettes behind the laundry shed or sneak into the dollar theater to watch the same movie twice. Kaylee was fearless, always wearing her brother's 2 big hoodies, her laugh loud enough to scare birds. Dylan was quieter, skinny as a rail, always fiddling with a pocket knife he swore he knew how to use. I was just Josh, the kid who overthought everything, who'd lie awake wondering why the Pines felt alive. We talked about the Pines sometimes, late at night when we were bored, sprawled on the playground with a flashlight and a bag of sour candy. Never in daylight, never around adults, just in the safe bubble of darkness where dumb ideas feel like secrets. Kaylee would say stuff like, "Bet it's just a bunch of trees." But her eyes would flick to the road, like she didn't believe herself. Dylan would carve his initials into the slide and mutter, "People go in, they just don't come back the same." I'd stay quiet, my stomach nodding, but I'd always felt it. The Pines weren't empty. Something was in there, watching. It was Kaylee's idea to go. August, hot as hell, the kind of night where the air sticks to your skin. We were at the edge of the park, tossing rocks at a stop sign, when she kicked the fence and said, "I'm sick of this place. Let's see what's so scary about the Pines." Dylan froze, his knife half open. "You serious?" She grinned, but it wasn't her usual grin. Too sharp, like she was daring us to call her bluff. "What, you scared?" I wanted to say no. I wanted to laugh it off, go back to throwing rocks. But I didn't. None of us did. It was like the Pines had heard her, like they were waiting for us to slip up. "Tomorrow," I said, before I could stop myself. "At dawn, less chance anyone sees us." Kaylee nodded. Dylan closed his knife, and that was it. We'd crossed a line we didn't understand. We met at 5 a.m., the sky gray and heavy like it was holding its breath. The park was quiet, no dogs barking, no TVs blaring through thin walls, just us standing by the fence staring at the road. Kaylee had a backpack with water and a granola bar. Dylan had his knife, plus a flashlight he'd swiped from his dad's toolbox. I'd grabbed a hammer from our shed, heavy and cold in my hand, though I didn't know why. It felt right, like I needed something to hold on to. The road was empty, just cracked asphalt and faded lines. Across it, the pines waited, dark, dense. The trees packed so tight you couldn't see more than a few feet in. Up close, they looked wrong. Not the trees themselves, but the way they stood. Too straight, too still, like they'd been arranged. The air smelled sharp, not like pine, but like metal, like a penny left in the rain. We climbed the ditch on the other side, our sneakers slipping in the mud. Kaylee went first, pushing through the underbrush, her hoodie catching on branches. Dylan followed, muttering under his breath. I went last, the hammer dragging at my arm, my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my teeth. Inside, the pines were quiet. No birds, no wind, just the crunch of our steps on needles that didn't crack right. The trees closed in fast, blocking the road behind us. It was colder than it should have been, the kind of cold that seeps into your bones. My breath fogged, though it was August. We didn't talk at first, just walked, deeper than we meant to. The path wasn't clear, but there was a pole, like the ground itself was guiding us. I kept looking back, trying to spot the road, but it was gone. Just trees, endless and identical, like we were walking in circles without turning. "Guys," Dylan whispered, maybe 20 minutes in. He'd stopped, his flashlight shaking. "You hear that?" I didn't at first. Then I did. A low hum. Not loud, but constant, like a fridge running in another room. It wasn't coming from one direction. It was everywhere, vibrating under our feet. Kaylee tilted her head, frowning. "It's just the wind," she said, but her voice was too tight. "There's no wind," I said, and there wasn't. The trees weren't moving. We kept going because stopping felt worse. The hum got louder, not in volume but in weight, like it was pressing on my skull. I started noticing things, scratches on the trees, shallow but deliberate, like someone had dragged a nail across the bark. They weren't random. They formed lines, too straight to be natural, leading deeper in. Then we found the clearing. It was sudden, like the trees just gave up. A wide circle of bare dirt, maybe 30 feet across, with no grass, no needles, nothing growing. Just earth packed hard, smoother than it should have been. In the center was a pile of stones, stacked neat as a cairn, about knee-high. They weren't from around here. Too white, too polished, like they'd been pulled from a river no one knew. Kaylee dropped her backpack, staring. "What is that?" Dylan didn't answer. He was looking at the ground, his face pale. I followed his gaze and saw them. Footprints. Not ours. Bare feet. Small. Pressed deep into the dirt, circling the stones. They overlapped. Dozens of them, like something had been walking there for hours, maybe days. "Kids?" I said, but I didn't believe it. The prints were too perfect. No smudges, no scuffs, like they'd been stamped, not walked. Kaylee stepped closer to the cairn, her sneakers silent on the dirt. "It's warm," she said, holding her hand over the stones. Feel it." I didn't want to, but I did. She was right. The air above the cairn was hot, like a radiator, though the stones looked cold. The hum was louder here, sharp enough to make my ears ring. I pulled my hand back, my fingers tingling. "We should go," Dylan said, his voice small. I nodded, my mouth dry. Kaylee didn't move at first, still staring at the cairn, her hand hovering over it like she was caught in a trance. "Kaylee, come on," I said sharper than I meant. She blinked, shook her head, and stepped back, grabbing her backpack off the ground. The hum was louder now, a pulse in my bones making my teeth ache. I clutched the hammer tighter, its weight useless against whatever this was. We turned to leave, retracing our steps, but the clearing felt different. The trees around it seemed closer, their branches tangled in ways I didn't remember. The scratches on the bark were deeper, fresher, like they'd been carved while we stood there. Dylan flicked on his flashlight, though the gray light filtering through the canopy was enough to see by. The beam jittered across the ground, catching more footprints, new ones, circling closer to where we'd been standing. "Josh," he hissed, grabbing my arm. "They're fresh." I didn't want to look, but I did. He was right. The dirt was soft, disturbed, like someone or something had been here seconds ago. My stomach twisted. "Keep moving," I said, trying to sound calm. "We'll find the road." We walked faster, almost jogging, the hum chasing us. The path we'd taken was gone, swallowed by underbrush that hadn't been there before. Branches snagged at my clothes, my hair, like the pines were trying to hold me back. Kaylee was ahead, pushing through, muttering, "This isn't right, this isn't right," under her breath. Dylan was behind me, his breath ragged, the flashlight beam swinging wildly. That's when I saw it. A figure just beyond the trees to our left, not moving, just standing there, half hidden in the shadows. It was small, kid-sized maybe, but wrong. Its head was tilted too far, like its neck didn't work right. Its arms hung limp, fingers brushing the ground longer than they should have been. I couldn't see its face, but I felt it looking at us. I froze. Dylan bumped into me, swearing softly. "What?" he started, then saw it too. His flashlight dropped, clattering on the ground, the light spinning across the dirt. Kaylee turned back. "What's wrong?" she whispered, then followed our gaze. Her eyes widened and she clapped a hand over her mouth, muffling a gasp. The figure didn't move, didn't blink, just stood there, head cocked like it was studying us. The hum spiked, so loud it felt like my skull was splitting. My vision blurred, and for a second, I thought I saw its face, pale, eyeless, with a mouth stretched too wide, like it was trying to scream without sound. "Run!" I choked out. We bolted. No plan, no direction, just blind panic. The pines seemed to fight us, roots tripping us, branches clawing at our faces. I heard Dylan yell, a sharp cry cut short. I turned, heart hammering, and saw him on the ground scrambling to get up, his ankle caught in a tangle of vines that looked too tight, too deliberate. "Help me!" he shouted, yanking at his leg. Kaylee was already there, tugging at the vines, her knife sawing at them. I dropped the hammer and grabbed his arm, pulling hard. The vines snapped, but they left scars, red, raw, like burns, circling his ankle. We didn't stop to think. We ran again, Dylan limping, Kaylee half dragging him. The figure was gone when I looked back, but the hum was everywhere, inside me now, like it was a part of my pulse. I kept seeing things, flashes of movement in the corner of my eyes, shadows that didn't match the trees. More figures, maybe, or maybe my mind breaking under the weight of it all. I don't know how long we ran. Minutes? Hours? Time didn't work right in there. The trees finally thinned and I saw asphalt, the road glinting under a weak sunrise. We stumbled out, collapsing in the ditch, gasping, covered in scratches and dirt. The pines loomed behind us, silent again, like nothing had happened. We didn't talk. Not then. Kaylee was shaking, hugging her knees. Dylan stared at his ankle, the scars still red, though the vines were gone. I kept waiting for something to follow us, to drag us back, but the road stayed empty. We made it home before anyone noticed we were gone. My mom was passed out on the couch, TV blaring static. I showered, scrubbing until my skin stung, but I couldn't wash away the hum. It was quieter now, but still there, a faint buzz in my head that hasn't left me since. We tried to act normal after. School, the playground, sneaking beers from Dylan's dad's fridge, but it wasn't the same. Kaylee stopped laughing, started jumping at shadows. She'd wake up screaming sometimes, saying she saw that thing, its face, its mouth, standing at her window. Dylan got mean, picking fights, his ankle scars never fading. He'd carve those same scratches we saw on the trees into his desk, his arm, anything, like he couldn't stop. Me? I don't sleep much. When I do, I dream of the pines. Not the trees, but that figure, standing over me, its head tilting further each time, like it's trying to see inside me. Sometimes I wake up with dirt under my nails, like I've been digging, though my room's clean. Last month, Dylan disappeared. No note, no trace. His mom thinks he ran away, but I know better. I went to the pines at dawn, alone, and found his knife in the ditch, blade snapped clean off. Kaylee won't talk to me anymore. She moved away, lives with her aunt now. I don't blame her. I'm writing this because I saw something last night. I was driving home, late, and my headlights caught it, just for a second at the edge of the road, where the pines start. The same figure, small and wrong, head tilted, fingers dragging in the dirt. It didn't chase me, didn't need to. The hum's louder now, and I keep finding scratches on my door, shallow but straight, like the ones on those trees. I don't know what it wants, but I know it's not done. If you're in Ohio, near a place called Shady Pines, do yourself a favor. Stay out of the pines, because once you go in, you don't come out right.